So here we are on the beautiful call with Mikey, and Mikey is an incredible energy healer, medium, and weaver in many directions of pure magic and golden frequency energy that she's been, journeying with for quite some time, and has just come back from Bali and spent some magical time there on the land and doing some activations and having some wonderful downloads and energies that she's wishing to bring forward for these beautiful men. So we just wanted to
Eh,
connect with Mikey here. So hello, Mikey.
Hello.
And today, yeah, we're here to speak about something that seems really special and needed and unique as well with Mikey's offering, which in this case is the men's space. What was the core energy or inspiration or what ignited in you to really bring this forward?
I think there's something really powerful for men to sit in circle. I felt when I hosted the first men's group, that was something else. It just was the power in the session, the energy in there, like the support they got from their ancestors, their lineage, their masters. There was just so much in the room where I felt, wow, it's so supported by spirit, but also so necessary and so beautiful to observe them in their process. It was such an honor to sit with them. Honestly, I just can't. It's just, yeah, it's such a special place to be, like for me, to host for them, to hold them in that space, to hold them in that frequency, and to guide them through their own healing journey, really. So yeah, it was super powerful. And for me, I was questioning it at first. Like, as a female, should I host for them? Should not maybe a male step into this space? And I know what I facilitate is unique. The frequency I channel is unique. The way I hold space for healing is very unique. Those who have been to my sessions, they know. So yeah, but I was questioning, should I do that? Should not a male step into this space? And every time I turned my back, something happened. Like either a message came or someone asked me when I'm hosting the next men's group or man booked in. I got always some sort of messages and guidance to no, you have to go back to this space. It's you who holds the space for them. It's your energy. It's your support for them. So yeah.
Amazing. And so you're talking about these ceremonies and how potent they've become and the energy is very strong. Could you speak into, the type of facilitation that, what does a journey look like or in your experience, like kind of what happens in the ceremony?
So the way it started was with, and the way I called it for a very long time is like Kundalini activation. And I will always honor this because that's the origin of where I started my journey, where I started to channel this frequency. But because I'm a born medium, I grew up with an ability to see and experience different. So I would convey with spirit from a very young age. So I channel messages, and so I channel also the frequency. So it morphed from the Kundalini energy, the facilitation, into so much more. So in my sessions, I started to invite ancestors in, their team in spirit, their lineage, like anyone who passed over who likes to be present. Sometimes pets come in, any loved one who wants to be there and in the space to support their healing. So it gets quite busy in the room. and that's, I think, where the difference is, that I allow myself to open that space up. So that's why it takes me a lot of time to secure the room, because we open up a portal, we open up a channel. And yeah, it was a presence of spirit, having them as part of your healing. It's more powerful. Like, I'm just a channel, so I'm channeling the frequency, but really the healing is, their team comes forward, like their healers come forward. There's so much more happening. And in the men's group, it was just there was a different frequency and there was a different support they received. It just was so powerful for me to observe. I've never experienced something like that. So yeah, it's very held and very supported by spirit, and I think there's a very calling out there to yeah, for them to gather and for them to experience that and in that space of healing.
I love that. Yeah, it's just it sounds like that, you're just entering the space with full trust and the
Mm.
full trust that, as you mentioned, the ancestors and spirit guides and the source or whatever you label, the intelligent field is full present, with the space of the container and yeah, just asking what's needed, right, in the moment and really meeting that fully. So it sounds like there's a lot of potential for unravelings, such as, maybe emotional release. Have you had is it would you say there's a lot of sharing or is it more is there certain processes that take place that you've experienced in the past as well?
You mean in terms of their own shedding? Or
Yeah, like people having more like open sharings, or is it kind of more moving energy in and out of the body, or like, what's been your experience in those journeys?
there's a different range. So the energy meets you where you're at and only takes you where you're able to go, basically. So and it's, everything is led by your intention. So every journey is different. And we're sitting all in the same frequency. But like even on Saturday, I facilitated, and it was interesting to observe that one person had a very strong process in their body. They felt the energy really strong. The next person had visions. The next person had counsel. So whatever you need to receive. So it could be a full range. And it's led by your intention, it's led by a release. So of course, like we gather in this space because there's something we have to let go of. Our bodies are like warehouses. We keep storing so many emotions and there's all these different layers. So the energy starts to unpack that. So yeah, there is release. Can be a physical release. There can be tears, which is a purge. Anything is possible really in those sessions. But the magic is happening afterwards in the integration. So the sessions are an activation, a first mirroring, a first dance with the energy. And the energy is meeting you as igniting something within you, shifting something within you. So that starts in the session. But everything's really happening afterwards. And that's where people go through a process. That's where emotions can come up. So quite often I hear afterwards, there could be anger, there could be sadness, there could be certain things. But then the emotion comes up, and it's released and it's gone. And they can't even, and I've said to them, you will remember at the time when the emotion comes up, what is this in relation to? There may be a vision or a thought or something from your childhood, but it comes up and then it goes. And then you cannot remember because you're not supposed to hold on to all of this. So it's a massive purification, a massive cleansing process. And because of what we're working with at the moment, with the energies of the collective and these massive shifts we're going through, everything is accelerated. So it's so even more powerful sitting in this frequency right now because we need to share it. We need to let go of all of this. That's what's not serving us. So yeah, it's powerful. But I honor this when people come to these sessions because it's not just a nice laying down and listen to some sound. It's
Yeah.
work. It's work
Mm,
we enter into for
mm,
ourselves, and that's just like I'm amazed when everyone shows up on a Saturday night and sits with me. You know what I mean? Like instead of doing something else, it's such an honor. Like really,
mm.
So yeah,
The willingness, hey, to just
totally.
go deep into the unknown, but also, as you mentioned, going in, doing the work, but actively choosing to do so. And by doing the work, not only are we, I feel helping ourselves and helping ourselves evolve and become who we really are and remember who we truly are, we're actually supporting our friends, our family, anyone we're in contact with, right? Like it ripples. And as you mentioned, into the collective, absolutely back and forth. And it's amazing, these spaces, and it sounds like these ceremonies have been quite transformative, not only for yourself but everyone involved.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's really special coming into these containers and
it's
seeing
powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful and seeing what evolves. And yeah, I just love to ask you also, I know you spoke to me earlier about being a woman holding this space, right? And so some may say, well, that's different, or maybe people haven't seen that before. So my question to you is like, you know, what does it feel like, or what is your experience as a woman holding these spaces? And yeah, t tell us more about that.
Yeah, as I shared with you, I felt first, should I hold the space for male, for a man's group, and it's been a clear yes for me, and has to do. I think there is what I realized is my own stereotyping, my own conditioning to think how things should be, and I think that's generally what we need to let go of. There's no such thing. There's just programming on how things should be. Why should I not sit with them if I can bring the best healing through for them, as a female, and this would be something in the female energy what helps them to soften and helps them to drop in, to helps them to let go of their conditioning from childhood, their programming through lineage, So, man, I was like, they're programmed to be strong, to man up, to be so resilient and not to show emotions. So, there's something in it as a female to sit with them and to soften that part so they can actually open up. So that's where the power lies for me. So, and as I said to you, it's an honor for me. Really, it's an honor to see them going through that process, and I'm learning every time I sit with a group, but now also specifically with men, I learn from them so much, like how I can be of better service for them. That's beautiful.
And I feel, yeah, there is an importance of for men and women, right? Like these
Mm.
men's spaces where, they're led by men, that's also great and that's also igniting something. And then now as you're speaking, a men's space being led by a woman, like there's a whole complete different energetical template available. And I wonder even what that would look like. Where there's like a women's circle and it's led by a man, or a women's circle is
Yeah,
led by a woman. Like that's a whole controversial thing in itself, right? And
yeah, but
um,
it shouldn't be, right?
no,
It shouldn't
right? Yeah, this is it.
So
Mm,
yeah.
it's about breaking the stereotypes and the norms, and
Mm.
as you said, trusting, the impulses and where we're guided. And I mean, I can even relate in the way where, I seem to be getting invited on these women's retreats, playing, doing sound
Love it.
healings and stuff. So
Yeah.
clearly there's that need for a masculine presence, and same with you, there's a need for a feminine presence in the masculine space. So it's all
Mm.
beautifully like, yeah, unraveling as it needs to by the sounds. And it sounds
Yeah.
that, yeah, you're probably opening up this space for the men to actually tap into that emotion, which is um, such a deep, like suppression across the board, for a lot
Yes.
of men. And I can relate in my experience too, and as a man, and having to, elevate over that and go, no, it's okay to be emotional. No, it's okay to feel, right? And allow that to be not a weakness, but an empowerment of using the emotion as a tool for, yeah, unlocking what is needed and using it as our compass.
And there's such a huge process of unlearning what we learned, because we trained ourselves, to be a certain way. And they're not just us, but through lineage, through centuries. Like, think about it, how much is in our programmed in our DNA from that. That conditioning is massive. So that's why for those male to step forward, to sit in circle, they're not just doing, oh, this gives me goosebumps. They're not just doing the work for them. They're doing, this has a ripple effect, like goes beyond, helps forward and backwards, the whole Morpheus effect, like it goes all range through, like to their lineage ancestry. That's why it has so much power. That's why it's so different.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'd love to know, and for the people watching or listening, what are some of the feedback or experience or outcomes that these men have experienced that they've shared with you?
It's really opening up, and tapping into that sense. The emotional world is one piece, but it's like it keeps almost layer after layer for them. So slowly they get access to different levels. Then realizing and really working through specific trauma they're holding, and really observing themselves. It's like the curiosity they bring in, it's really cute and playful almost, because they're less like it's all kind of a little bit new for them as well to tapping into the spiritual realm, and learning that world a bit more, to tapping into that world a bit more, because it feels like the female world, but it's not. So, and it's like that part to open up for them, that horizon, that there's something there they can utilize and use and access. It's like access their own intuition, and yeah, the potential. It's just that, yeah, it starts with layers, slowly, and just know that, like, those men who came and they've had an experience, they will be able to speak to others. They will help others, like in their group of and circle, to perhaps experience that too. To open their horizon for them. Again, it has such a ripple effect. So yeah, various different experiences they had. But I think the most profound one is that they're tapping into something else. They're tapping into their inner essence more, a different level of sensitivity for them.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's really beautiful because these spaces, have, as you said, the ripple and I guess, like, when other men hear about, other men doing these ceremonies, it also empowers these men to go, hey, maybe I can do that. Or
Yeah.
maybe, he's doing that, maybe I can, and vice versa, whether it's a women's circle as well. Like, I think there's just a beautiful ripple and empowerment for each other when we're doing the work like this. And
Yeah.
it sounds like, yeah, a lot of people getting a lot out of it. And as you said, accessing, maybe parts of themselves that have been dormant for some time. I'd love to ask also, let's say if I was a man who, or for any men out there who have a curiosity or like let's say an impulse to be curious, to go, what is this? And um, like a little, maybe if they feel scared or maybe they feel like, oh, I'm kind of like, keen to try that. What would you tell these men? What would you share with them as a little nugget of insight or invitation?
Just be curious about it, experience it without any expectation. Just go in, and in one of the sessions you feel called to go in and see what happens. I think, again, like, if there's a men's circle offered somewhere to sit with men, just, try it out.
Mm.
If you don't know until you try it, and then there's an element of, okay, like, there's a first experience, then try another one and another one and another one. It's like collecting data, like we're starting somewhere. So yeah, first experience for me.
Being curious and just giving it a go.
Playful, like,
Yeah.
have fun with it. It doesn't need to be anything. Just,
Mm.
see what comes out of it, observe, pay
Mm.
attention to. And I'm working with men, and even in one-on-one capacity, when I hear from them, then I hear their feedback. I ask them to observe the signs afterwards and what they experience, and then they start to see, because everything is responding to you. The universe is always giving you feedback, and it's like tuning ourselves into that, like we are just tuning forks, really. So we just have to tune ourselves to that different frequency.
Mm.
And if they get the hang of it, they get the play of it. They see the synchronicity showing up, and they see how the dance works. It's so beautiful, And so it might take time, That's I mean, I had to learn it as well. I did patience, Like, of course, you want everything to show up yesterday.
Yeah.
It just takes time, like anything in life. It may happen in the first session, you get a massive opening, or it may happen in 3 sessions.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's no need to force anything, right? It's just following the threads and following the impulses and, as you said, having to play and but also doing the work, and it's like finding the balance between the two. Hey, it's like, yeah, such a divine dance. And it
Yes.
Sounds like a beautiful space. And how can these men find you? How can they participate or join if they feel inspired or the call?
Yeah, to find me is it's mikey.com. If they want to know more, if they want to reach out, there's of course a one-to-one space for them as well.
So you said they can find you at itsmikey.com, correct?
Mikey.com, yeah.
Yeah, itsmikey.com. Or if you are a man and you're feeling the call and you're feeling, there's a resonance with Mikey and with the beautiful containers of, the men's space, give it a go, you know, dip your
Go.
toes into the grand mystery of life. And I'm sure it'll be a beautiful experience. And yeah, is there anything else you wish to share with the men and or anyone who's tuning in today?
I'm just really grateful. I'm grateful for you for asking me all these beautiful questions. This was perfect. No, please, if anyone feels called, as you said, if there's resonance, if there's resonance in my words, if something felt right, if they feel called, it's a calling, then
Mm,
please join me. And for anyone who's not local in Sydney, I offer these sessions online as well. So I'm very inclined to have that as a manned space in a virtual setting as well. So watch out for it.
beautiful. You mentioned a online virtual experience with the men's
Mm.
space.
Yeah.
Is that like a group container or one-to-one, or is that yet to come?
Can be both. One-on-one sessions are super powerful doing them online because you're in your own space. I love receiving sessions online in my own home. Don't need to go anywhere. I can just roll over and go to
Hmm.
bed. Super powerful. And the group sessions are powerful too. It's just a different container, a different energy. One-on-ones is obviously very customized and very tuned in and zoned into your frequency, and it's just the work on you. And in a group session and a virtual one is it's a group setting, so it's a shared kind of energy.
Oh, it sounds all exciting, and thank you so much for sharing, Mikey. And it sounds like a beautiful space you're, curating for our men. As a man, it's beautiful to hear that this space is even available. I mean, this is the first that I've heard of a woman leading a men's circle. So, it's beautiful to see the shift. And I feel at some point there will be even more spaces where men and women lead men and women's circles, I feel maybe that's where we're going into at some point as well, which is awesome. So it's great to see the norms are shifting, and that these spaces are available because yeah, we need these spaces, We need the opportunity to go within and be supported in that journey. So thank you also for showing up and feeling the impulse from source, God, or whatever you label the intelligent
Yeah.
field, and feeling guided to bring that forward for our Tani, our men.
Thank you so much.
Mm,
Many blessings. Thank you.
mm. Blessings.
Blessings,
Well,
blessings.
thank you everybody for tuning in. And as mentioned, if you want to find out more about Mikey, please reach out to her on her website. It's mikey.com, or you can find her on Instagram,
Golden ray frequency.
the Golden Ray Frequency. Give it a crack.
Give it a crack. Ah,
Beautiful.
thank you.
Thank you.